Dating is already weird. Add in a neurospicy brain, and suddenly it can feel like you're playing a game where everyone else has the rule book and you're improvising awkwardly with jazz hands. That's why this series exists. In this first episode, Briar Harvey and hi, I'm Heather, also known as Nookie, unpack what it means to show up in dating, love, and romance as a neurodivergent, or as I like to say, neurospicy human. We talk definitions, boundaries, authenticity, narcissism versus selfishness, and why trying to be normal is both impossible and boring. Let's get spicy. So, what does neurospicy even mean? Briar opens with the big question. What the hell do we mean by neurospicy? Here's my definition. Neurospicy encompasses autism, ADHD, ADD, dyslexia, trauma, anxiety, and other traits that change how we engage in behaviors significantly enough that it takes us out of what we might call common or typical behaviors. Neurospicy isn't a diagnosis. It's an acknowledgement that brains work differently, and that different often comes with both superpowers and challenges. Most humans are extraordinary in some way, and that extraordinariness often comes with a companion deficit or two. So we're not broken. We're not deficient. We're just spicy. Selfishness isn't narcissism. There's a lot of noise out there about narcissists. Everything from my ex was a narcissist to everyone's a narcissist these days. Let's clear this up. I draw a line between selfishness, which is neutral, even healthy, and narcissism, which is destructive. Selfish behavior is neutral. If fulfilling myself means being surrounded by happy, well-adjusted people, my behavior looks different than someone who fulfills themselves at the expense of everyone else. We should be selfish in the sense of protecting our needs, because we are the only person we'll spend every single day with for the rest of our lives. Narcissism, though, is the bad flavor of selfish, arrogant, empathy lacking, demanding constant admiration. And here's the kicker. If you have healthy boundaries, narcissists can't get their claws in you anyway. Boundaries are filters, not walls. They don't control other people, they control us. A boundary isn't, you can't talk to me like that. A boundary is, I will not stay in a conversation when someone is yelling. That's where neurospicy dating lives and dies. Boundaries plus authenticity. Neurocommon versus neurospicy. Let's redefine the landscape. Instead of neurotypical, I prefer neurocommon. Why? Because typical implies normal or default. Common is just common, widespread, middle of the bell curve. If you take a scale of 0 to 100 in any facet of personality, the 30th to 70th percentile, that's neurocommon. Just because it's widespread doesn't make it better. Neurocommon folks have their own rigidity. Many were raised on rom-coms and The Bachelor, spoon-fed narrow ideas about what relationships should look like. For us neurospicy folks, the trick isn't to copy them. It's to stop masking, own our weirdness, and build connections from scratch. If you're neurospicy and you know it, clap your hands. Assumptions kill connection. One of the biggest traps is assuming everyone thinks and feels the way you do. What we are good at is not necessarily what others are good at. We don't think and feel the same. This is where exformation and theory of mind come in. Theory of mind, recognizing that others have different beliefs, desires, and emotions than you. Exformation, the mashup of every belief, conversation, YouTube binge, and life experience that shapes how you see the world. So if I say, I love you, my definition might be a warm feeling of affection. Breyer's definition includes security and belonging. Same words, completely different wiring. That's why we define our terms. If we can't even agree on what love means, how the hell are we supposed to agree on what loving each other looks like? Radically neurospicy. One of my favorite phrases from this series is radically neurospicy. That means stop trying to pass as normal. Stop masking. Stop waiting until 6 months in to reveal your quirks and capacities. Radically neurospicy is creating a condition of not only accepting ourselves, but owning our differences and inviting people to opt into our lives. This isn't about oversharing on a first date. It's about honesty. If you know you have social battery limits, say so. If you know loud parties will wreck you, say so. Then let people choose whether to opt in. Because when the mask slips, and it will, people feel tricked. And that damages trust more than your quirks ever could. Resources, not shortcomings. Instead of thinking of energy, time, and emotional regulation as flaws, think of them as resources. Time is a resource. Energy is a resource. Physical potential is a resource. Emotional capacity is a resource. That's not weakness. That's resource management. Just like budgeting money, you budget your social battery. Some neurospicy folks can start relationships easily, but struggle to sustain them. Others are incredible long-term, but feel undateable at the beginning. Knowing your flavor of resource challenges helps you navigate better, instead of blaming yourself for not fitting into neurocommon dating scripts. Intent versus impact. Intent matters, but impact matters more. Your parents may have taught you to mask because they wanted you to fit in. Their intent was love, but the impact? Harm. Or maybe you keep stepping on your partner's metaphorical foot. You don't mean to. You apologize every time. But if it still hurts, they still need boundaries. That's the big shift. Stop arguing about whether someone meant well. Start looking at how behaviors affect you. Then set boundaries accordingly. Boundaries change everything. This episode circles back to boundaries again and again for a reason. They're not easy. They come with pushback. When you start setting really healthy boundaries, some of the people in your life are not going to love that. They'll push back, call you names, even leave. And that hurts a lot. But what happens after? Magic. Suddenly, new people show up. People who respect you, who thrive with you, who couldn't be around you before because you were wrecking yourself for others. One of my favorite tips: write scripts ahead of time. Literally, jot down what you'll say when a boundary is crossed so you're not flailing in the moment. That way, you enforce boundaries with clarity instead of panic. Final word. Let's get spicy together. This first episode is an invitation to own your flavor of spicy, to stop competing over who has it harder and start collaborating on solutions, to build relationships rooted in honesty, resource awareness, and boundaries. Because here's the truth: nobody's really normal. And the more we normalize being radically ourselves, the better chance we have at love that lasts.